Stay tuned now for Westchester Eye on the Radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and Ardina Seward on 1460 WVOX.
To Westchester Eye on the Radio, our weekly discussion of issues relating to Westchester and the surrounding area. We are one person short this week. I'm John Sharan, along with Ardina Seward, and we have two special in-studio guests this week. So, Ardina, why don't you do the honors since you arranged for them to be here?
I am psyched because it's a rare opportunity to get these two people away from their busy schedule. We're talking about Angel, Electra, and Shady Pines.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
And I got to tell you, you know something? We have had on occasion a couple of people who said they were going to be on the show, didn't show up, one being Adriano Espaillat, the other being Quay James.
Don't give their names out there. We don't need to publicize people who disrespect us.
She put it under the table,
but there's a reason why I say this. These two people came up literally from Asbury Park.
Oh, my God.
Just before the show. They did a show last night, took the bus from Asbury Park today.
Yes.
Went home. No sleep. Went home, showered, and were about to take the bus from Yonkers.
Yes, and I'm like,
by
Ardina,
way of White Plains.
I'm like, Ardina, I'm taking the bus. She's like, no, you're not. I'm picking you
When
up.
you're on the road, you're on the road.
You're on the road.
And they got a ride, and I gave them a ride up. But I just wanted to, I want the audience to understand the kind of dedication that they have, not only to their craft, but their loyalty.
Definitely.
So, without hogging the microphone,
Yes.
Angel, you go first.
Yes, it is my pleasure to be here, guys. Thank you for having me. My name is Angel Electra. I'm a drag queen that lives in Yonkers, New York. And you're going to get to know a lot about me within this hour. So, Shady Pines, introduce yourself, girl.
Hello. It is me, Shady Pines. And yeah, that was my better half you just heard. And we're going to talk some stuff about the shows that we do.
Yeah, shows, LGBT community, drag queen story hour. We're just life in general.
Well, you've touched on these issues. Tell us a little bit about what your shows are and how they began.
We do, every Tuesday, we do a drag show. It's a basic drag show that we have. It's called Dining with Divas. And it's basically a sit-in restaurant. You have your favorite meal, your favorite cocktails, and then you enjoy your drag show.
Yes. I mean, it's amazing.
And does this happen at the same restaurant, or do you rotate?
It happens at the same restaurant, and the whole way we got the show was we hosted Yonkers' first Pride Festival.
5,000 people.
5,000 or more, yeah. It was amazing, and I was honored to be part of that historical event. And I was asked to be the MC, and then I was like, I need someone to be on stage with me. So I'm like, babe, you're going to be on stage with me. And so Shady Pines was like, okay, I'll be on stage with you.
More than honored.
And then they were like, we're going to get you a lot of publicity. We're going to try to get you a show downtown Yonkers. I was like, let's work it. Let's do it, And I didn't really put my hopes up. And I was just like, let's go with the flow. A week later, they're like, oh, we have a show for you at Guapo's. I was like, oh, wow.
It was all in the hopes to offer something new, something different to the community. Yes. You have to travel to the city, Manhattan, or you have to travel outside of the state to see something like this, and it's bringing it over here home.
Yeah, I mean, we've hosted shows in many bars in Yonkers. We've done Burke's Bar, we've done Danny Boy's, we've done Ireland's 32, we've done duos, but I feel that Dining with the Divas at Guapo's is going to be very successful. I mean, we've been there a month already, and the plans that we have coming, it's just intense.
It's bringing a home for everybody.
Yes.
It's bringing a home for those who
I
want
mean,
to see
we
the
have
show.
some great things coming up.
So it's called Dining with the Divas at Guapo's.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm assuming Guapo's is the name of the restaurant.
Yes.
If somebody wants to get reservations for this, how do they do that?
You can actually just either call the restaurant, or you can either
drop in.
Just drop in. I recommend you to drop in because, I mean, it's like a dive bar. So there's people either coming in and out.
You can also follow them on social media as well.
Media.
Instagram, Facebook. It's Guapo Cocina Mexicana.
Yes, and it's happy hour. Happy hour. They extended the happy hour for an extra hour. So now it's from,
it's from 5 to 9.
From 5 to 9.
There's no cover charge.
There's
I think
no
the address is 10 Warburton Avenue?
10 Warburton Avenue.
Off of Main Street.
Yes, we even have children that come in, which is amazing. The kids love it. The family love it.
And speaking of children, you have started a drag queen story hour, which I don't think that's ever been done before.
No. Well, actually, Drag Queen Story Hour was founded in Los Angeles by Michelle T. and Radar Production. and then it started branching out throughout the world, and then it hit New York about 2-3 years ago, and I've been part of the organization for a year already. I just made my first year July 17th, and we had our first reading here at the Lewisboro Public Library in Katona. That was on July 14th. It was a great outcome. And we'll speak more about Drag Queen Story Hour.
I have yet to do a reading, but I'm hoping to get in there.
Yeah, she reads, but she reads the adults. She doesn't read to the children.
I read the grown-ups.
She reads the grown-ups.
But as far as the kids are concerned, some of the children are autistic, and we will get into that coming up on the other side of the break. You're listening to Westchester Eye on the radio. I am Ardina Stewart, John Shaman, and our guests today are Angel Electra and Shady Pines. That's SHYDPINES. Call in if you want, 914-636-0110 for comment or questions. And stay tuned. Don't go away, because we have more exciting stuff coming up.
And don't forget that they perform weekly at Guapo Cocina Mexicana in Yonkers.
And it's all your damn fault. 1460 WVOX.
1460 WVOX.
Let's return now to Westchester Eye on the Radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and Ardina Seward on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back to Westchester Eye on the Radio, our weekly discussion of issues relating to Westchester and the surrounding area. I'm John Sharan, along with Ardina Seward, and in studio we have two guests today, drag queen performers Angel Electra and Shady Pines. And Ardina, you were interrupted by the music when we broke away there, so why don't you take it?
Yes, just before the break, we were talking about the Drag Queen Story Hour, which is fascinating because it has so much. I want to say it has so much potential, but the potential is already being realized by the number of kids that are turning out for it. And you have some children that are autistic. So how has the interaction been between yourselves and the autistic children?
Yes, I mean it's been an amazing experience because, like I mentioned to you just briefly, my brother has cerebral palsy, so I was pretty much all my life I've been surrounded by children with disability. So when the coordinator from New York said I have a reading for a group of autistic kids, were you interested in doing the reading? I was like, oh, absolutely. I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And the way that I present myself to these children is, how do you identify yourself as a drag queen to a child who's autistic? My way of identifying myself as a drag queen is just, I'm at Amazon. When I have my heels on, I'm just this big, big woman. So, these kids are just going to look at me like, who is this? Is this, like a character? Who is she? And like I mentioned before, I did one of the readings where the kids would touch my lashes, the kids would touch my wigs, the kids, remember these kids they're autistic, so they can't stay still. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with, just sitting down there, reading the books to them, teaching them that I'm different and that it's okay to be different and they're different in their ways and it's okay to be different. And if, you feel like you're being bullied, you have all rights to speak up, and don't hold it in. There's people out there that love you. And like I say, and like RuPaul says, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? So, you have to teach these children that it's okay to be different and love yourself, for being different.
Which also brings us to the whole issue about being different. Now, growing up, the two of you, both of you realized at an early age that you were gay.
Oh, yeah.
And you took a lot of heat for that growing up.
Yes, particularly from friends and family who were raised not to accept the difference and not to realize that people can grow up differently. So it is difficult growing up trying to identify.
It is, absolutely. And like I said, I tell my husband all the time and all my friends, the fact that we do have this program, Drag Queen Story Hour, it's not only to identify drag queens, it's to identify sexuality, it's to identify gender, it's to be able to identify yourself as a human being. When I go, for instance, when I do the autistic readings, we have a curriculum that we follow. So when we go in, the kids automatically, hi, Angel Electra. You introduce yourself. After that, we sing a song. After that, we'll read our first book. After we read our first book, we'll do another arts and craft. Because remember, kids with autism, they can't really sit for long. So we have certain things that we do with them, and it's just an amazing experience. And for children who aren't autistic, being able to do what I do and read stories to them. And like I said, we read books that have to do with bullying, books that have to do with having two moms, two dads, and books identifying that it's okay to be different, books identifying that it's okay to be a darker...
Kids who are adopted.
Yeah, kids that are adopted. It's okay to be a different color. It's okay to be bald. It's okay to have big ears, and these are things that as a child I was always bullied about. And I always knew that I was gay at an early age. It's not something that I said, okay, I'm going to be gay today. No, at an early age, I felt gay and I felt identified at an early age. I didn't have anybody to help me, as a role model. So having Drag Queen Story Hour, it's just an amazing experience for me alone. And for the children, we make it magical. We read books to them, we sing to them, we dance, we do the most with children. Just imagine what we can do with kids. So we're drag queens. We're full of life.
Well, I think that there's also a kind of metaphorical message out there for people who are not in the drag queen community, because
Absolutely.
there are people who are disabled. There are people who don't feel as though they fit into the norm.
Yes.
And they need the kind of inspiration that you're giving them to say it is okay to be different.
Yeah.
That does not make you
You're
less
also
of
never
a person.
alone.
And you're
Always
never
know
alone.
that you're always going to have somebody to lean on.
Absolutely. And being a drag queen doesn't necessarily mean that I am a man dressing up as a woman, and I want to be a woman. No, that's not the case. Like my form of drag is an art form. I've worked my behind off for so many years to get where I'm at now. I don't do makeup just to be a woman. I do makeup because it's an art. I feel comfortable doing it. It's a passion, and anybody can be a drag queen. Anybody can be a drag king. Anybody can be a drag princess. Anybody can be a drag prince. It's however you feel, and it's
However
okay.
you feel as a performer, or however you feel you want to dress, it's exactly how you want to express yourself, then go right ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when did you folks decide to start your act, and how have you seen it evolve through time?
We started doing drag out in a lovely magical place called Fire Island.
Oh my God, Cherry Grove.
And every year they have this parade called the Invasion. It's literally the invasion of drag queens.
Do you want to tell them what the whole invasion is?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1970 something, 1974, 75. This one particular drag queen had went over from one place in Fire Island, Cherry Grove, over to Fire Island Pines.
Which was a straight community at that time.
And she was literally shunned away from the place, was told to get up and leave. So out of anger, went back to Cherry Grove and gathered up a whole bunch of her friends. And they went over back, dressed up in full drag to the Pines.
And they invaded the Pines.
That was the very first beginning of the Fire Island Pines.
Yes.
Invasion. And that's where we started. We started on the 40th anniversary. And ever since then, we...
just taking
had enjoyment with it. You have fun with it. We do the shows. We go out and we do charity events. So we like to do the most with it.
Absolutely. We just came from Asbury Park, like you mentioned earlier. It was the most amazing festival. It was the Asbury Park Tattoo Convention. Oh my God, it was intense. We performed, we judged the Speedo contest. There was men in Speedos. We got the new Miss Asbury Park winner. So, it was a great experience. You do so much with this, and to me, I not to ever badmouth anyone who does RuPaul's Drag Race, but to me, I don't feel that that's a stepping stone. I don't need that. I don't need that to do what I'm doing now. I'm just thrilled and I'm happy and I'm grateful for everything that I've accomplished. And I'm comfortable with my drag. I'm comfortable with what I do, and if there's anyone out there who's questioning their drag, reach out to us. We give you ideas. We give you tips. That's what we do. You're not alone.
No, that's true. And with the music, we're going to take another break. You're listening to Westchester Eye on the radio here on WVOX 1460 AM and heard worldwide at WVOX.com. I'm John Sharan, along with our Dina Seward, and our special in-studio guests this week are drag queen performers Angel Electra and Shady Pines. Remember, They perform weekly at Guapo Cocina Mexicana in Yonkers from Tuesdays from 5 to 11. And they also perform at various events around Westchester, so stay tuned for more.
With world and national news, here is the latest update from Fox News Radio on 1460
VOX.
Let's return now to Westchester Eye on the Radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and Ardina Seward on 1460 WVOX.
We are back, and you are back, and you're listening to Westchester Eye on the Radio. I am Ardina Stewart with John Sharan, minus Peter Moses today. But our in-studio guests are Angel Electra, Shady Pines, and you are listening to Westchester Eye on the Radio. And we have so much more information. We have so much more stuff to talk about, exciting topics, and one of them is going to be a girl's best friend, makeup.
Oh, makeup.
Hey, we love makeup.
We love makeup.
I just did jazz hands. If you could have seen that.
It's radio, folks.
Hands.
People,
waving his hands.
I was going to say, with radio, it's hard to see.
Yes.
But you know,
The hands went up like we was on a roller coaster.
I think that straight girls go through early from the time we're probably 11 to till 85, trying to get makeup right for those of us who wear. My mother's rule was never wear so much that you look in the mirror and say, "Who in the hell is that?"
Exactly. Yes.
There's no such thing as too much makeup.
Yes,
in the drag queen
for drag
world.
queen, there's no such thing as too much makeup. I mean, if you've been to my shows, you've seen my eyebrows, you've seen my crease in my eyes, you've seen Shady Pine. She's full of glitter
You've
from
seen
head to
my
toe.
face.
You know.
But I don't even know where to begin. How, where, how much?
It's a process, and the key is because we don't have the features that a woman would have. That's the whole idea, is to get the makeup, to get yourself the features that women have: the high cheekbones, the pinched nose,
The highlight.
the chiseled jawline.
Yes.
That's what all the makeup does for us.
Yes, and then the 301 lashes, which like 301s, there's different numbers of lashes. So like I use 301s, which is like the biggest lashes you can ever
It's like a
possibly
4-inch
have.
lash. This
So
one
like they
wears.
come all the way out here, and I'll double stack them. Sometimes I put 4 on top of each other, so my lashes, like my eyes are literally closed. Like
Four
Yeah.
pair of eyelashes.
It
Oh my God.
must weigh a bit. Too.
weight, especially when you're sweating and all that sweat's like.
I
But there's
prefer
a-
comfort.
There's a little trick to it. I just keep all night. I'm like just fixing them. Like
Now, how long does it take?
to get fully dressed, it takes me about like an hour and a half. Like to paint my face. I mean, once you learn your face, like once you learn what to do with your face,
it
unless-
gets easier and easier.
Unless you like Shady Pines, so like just to create so much. Like she does extra to herself. Like
I'm a little
she's
extra.
always finding different, ways to do her makeup, different, different designs, different, just different. Like my makeup is always gonna be the same. You like
I like to go for different.
If I add anything, I'm just gonna add maybe like a little glitter or something. But like let's talk about the foundation. The foundation we use is Krylon, which is a theatrical makeup.
Like in the paint, like Krylon paint.
Yes, it's
It's the same. It's not the same
It's not
type
the same
of paint,
paint.
but it's the same spelling of that.
Yeah,
name.
it's called Krylon paint stick, TV paint stick, and a lot of people that do like I don't know if you guys watch like the FX TV shows where they do all these what is it called those shows when they do transformations with
Face Off.
face
The
off.
show's
Yeah,
Face
sorry, I'm over here stuttering. But it's theatrical makeup. I mean, you pay for what you want. You know what I mean? And if you want to look great, you have to pay. But like I told you, my foundation stick is like $35. Almost sometimes it's $40. Depends on what you get. I mean, we've been through all different foundations. We've used Maybelline. We've used CoverGirl, but CoverGirl doesn't cover boys. So
That's the same.
that's the same. We cannot wear CoverGirls. Maybelline, we're not related. I don't like her. Let me see what else. We've tried NYX. You know what I mean? It's just different. I mean,
you
like
do trial and error until you get what's right for your particular
like
face.
I just personally found my right shade of color. I just finally, like a few years ago, learned how to do my actual eyebrows, because we seal our actual eyebrows. Like our real eyebrows are covered, and then we draw eyebrows on top of the real ones once they're covered. So it's a process. You plaster your face with what do? You primer your face
primer.
first.
You
And
get
then-
the whole steps in there.
And then you foundation your face. After you foundation your face, what you do is you seal your eyebrows. Most queens use the paint.
Glue stick.
They use glue
You
stick.
use glue stick.
I use Prozade. Prozade is it's like a medical tape. Put it over your eye, seal your eyebrows, put some powder on it. After that is done, just draw your regular and just the makeup. It's amazing. I mean, I wish people can see it, but you can also see my pictures on Facebook, Instagram, Angel Electra. You can see my makeup. If you're interested in doing makeup or learning makeup, call me. I'll help you.
Now, you mentioned social media. You folks don't have a website, but you do use social media.
Yes, we don't have a website because we work off of tips. That's what drag queens do.
We're
off
not
of,
that famous.
Yeah, we're not famous yet. We
We'll
work off
get
of
there.
drinks. We work off of drinks, tips, and food. Just kidding. But yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook. Like, I'm a huge Facebook promoter. Like, all I do is sit on my face. When I have time, I'm always just promoting my shows. I would never talk about anything personal on my Facebook. I do have a personal Facebook, but my entertainment page is just strictly about my work, what I do as an entertainer. So you guys can follow us. And it's Shady Pines.
SHAYD' Pines.
No hyphens.
No hyphens.
Yes, no hyphens.
Does that makeup hold up in the weather? I mean, what happens if you have that makeup on and you go out into a
Yeah.
snowstorm?
There's different setting sprays that they sell. I mean,
You want to use a solid, good setting spray.
yeah, and there's a good one that's called the All Nighter by Urban Decay, if I'm not mistaken, which is a great coverage. So you don't have to ever worry about your face dripping.
The better quality of the makeup, the longer the lasting.
Exactly.
Now, what about the body transformation? Because men generally don't have hips or.
Oh, the body, my body. I bought it at Joann's Fabric.
My hips do lie. my hips are liars because they're not real.
Yeah. She got hers at Raymore Flanagan. That was our last sofa. We was ready to throw it out, and I'm like, girl, we can use those pads. That's a body.
Yeah, my hips were brought to you by Dr. Raymore and
Yeah.
Miss Flanagan.
Mine's, I bought my pads like 3 inches at Joann's Fabric. And I mean, you just imagine how a woman's body is going to be. So, like, however you want your body to be. Like, my body, I'm known to have a voluptuous, crazy body. You know, and that's because I insert so many pieces of foam to perfect that body. You know, the outfits that I make, I sew every piece of outfit that I wear. You know, for the past year, I've been sewing everything that I wear and everything that Shady Pines wears.
There are some entertainers out there who go the extreme for surgery and stuff like that, but we prefer the artificial stuff.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider surgery at some point in your life?
Maybe Botox.
I don't think so. But
For my forehead.
Maybe if I'm looking at, like, you know, some fillers and stuff like that, maybe. But as far as, like, reconstructive surgery for drag purposes, I don't think I would.
No. There's ways you can pucker up your lips. There's ways you can make your eyes bigger. There's ways you can make your lips bigger. Just with makeup, I mean, I'm not going to go on that table just so that way, you know what I mean? Because that's, to me, that's taking your art to a different extreme. You know what I mean? It's not, to me personally, it's not art anymore. It's more of a transition now. You know, so I would just rather just paint and create the gorgeous cheekbones with contour, you know, and take it from there.
Now, we've discussed in the past about your readings, and we've heard some of your senses of humor. Tell us a little bit about the other aspects of your performances.
Yes, other aspects of our performances. Shady Pines is known to do her crazy acts. She does
I'm a little
cartwheels.
messy.
Yeah, she does cartwheels. She does splits. She does backflips. She does crazy stuff. I'm more of just a pageant pretty girl. I stand on stage and, you know, just do my theater music. I went to school for theater. I unfortunately only got 3 college credits because that's when I met Shady Pines. You know, so
She puts those 3 college credits to use.
yeah.
And I like to veer more towards, like, a comedic standpoint of drag. Like,
Me, I'm more of a Julie Garland, more of a like Liza Minnelli, more of a Barbara Streisand, Broadway type stuff. She's more into like
a glamorous clown.
Yeah.
Think of it like that.
I saw some of the performances, and I'm kind of mystified as to how you're able to do these pratfalls, these tumbles with all of that padding. How is that done? I guess the padding kind of absorbs the falls.
I don't know. I guess I get so involved with it that I
like that,
I
Argina.
just
The
go
padding,
for it.
the padding absorbs the fall.
But-
That was
Yeah, but I think it also throws off the balance.
yes.
All of this plays into action. This is all a factor. But when I'm into that mindset of performing, like, I'll just go for it.
It's
Well,
amazing.
I mean, it is astonishing. I mean, it's hard for some people to dance and walk and talk even in regular clothes, but to do all of this the way you do it, I mean,
It's almost a sport.
loaded down. I guess in essence it is, and we're gonna.
Well, it's certainly athletic in its activity, and the fact is that we're speaking with drag queen performers Angel, Electra, and Shady Pines here today, talking about their performances. They perform Tuesdays from 5 to 11 at Guapo Cucina Mexicana in Yonkers. They are also available if you want to follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Look up Angel, Electra, and Shady Pines. That's Shady Pines, one word with a apostrophe in the middle. And you're listening to Westchester Eye on the radio here on WVOX 1460 AM and heard worldwide at WVOX.com.
1460 WVOX.
1460 WVOX.
Let's return now to Westchester Eye on the Radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and Ardina Seward on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back to our guests, to our audience, to John Sharan, who's looking at me saying, "You better get your timing right, doggone it." we're into
Well, I may think it, but apparently it doesn't sink in.
I'm looking at his face, and he's like, "Ardina, get the timing right."
That's funny.
We are live in the studio, of course, and you're listening to Westchester Eye on the radio. I am Ardina Seward, trying to get her timing right with John Sharan. Peter's off today, and our guests are
In studio.
And we have Angel, Electra,
The queen.
and Shay D. Pines. I love
Welcome
that name,
back, everybody.
Shay D. Pines.
You know what
Yes.
Shady Pines was originally, like, the inspiration came from
The name.
the nursing home in Florida.
It's a
Shady
Golden Girl
Pines.
inspired
No,
name.
just kidding.
It's a Golden Girl inspired name, and we all know Sophia escaped from Shady Pines, and that's probably where I'll be committed
Yeah.
at some point.
That's what she'll be. I'll be visiting her there while I'll be on the beach with Carmen Electra.
Yeah.
And
Because that's where I got my inspiration from.
But I want to talk about your marriage, because I think people don't see gays a lot of times as having
A long-term
strong,
relationship,
stable,
right.
long-term relationship, and your relationship has lasted longer than a lot of the
my God.
marriages
We
of
met in
people that
high
I know.
school.
We met in high school.
1999.
It was like May, I think, before. Yeah, it was like before June.
And we made it strong way. It's honesty, communication, trust, and
Yeah.
knowing that it's not always going to be a smooth ride. Things do get bumpy, but you make it through.
Yes, and like you just said, communication and trust. Well, trust, communication, and honesty is the main important thing. Because I mean, if you don't communicate, that's just then what do you have? Communication it's a package. And when I met Shady Pine, Alex. For those of you that don't know what's his real name, it's Alex, and my name is Angel. I was a very lazy drag queen. I woke up one morning and said, I want to do drag today. My name is going to be Angel, and my last name is Electra because I love Carmen Electra. So that's where my name come from. But my real name is Angel, and when I met Alex, I was Christian. I used to go to church. I was Pentecostal. I was born and raised in a Pentecostal household. My aunt is a pastor. Her husband is a pastor. And I had to make a decision when I met my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, it's either him or living a lie. And I was like, I can't continue to live this lie and continue to go to church and feel that it's okay when it's not okay to go to church and still love a man that I've been told all my life that it's not okay to love a man. So I mean, I made the decision, and I was like, I want to be with this guy forever.
How difficult is the emotional stress to have to try and balance your values that you're taught when you're young with your feelings as an adult? I mean, how difficult is that?
It's extremely difficult, especially when it comes to dealing with your family, because you have to separate it. You have to separate what I was pretty much taught as a child, that it's not okay to love a man. It's not okay to be with a man. You're supposed to be with a woman, and just balancing that out and just fighting through it and saying, this is what I want,
It takes a strong person to come to terms with yourself.
Yes.
To say, hey, listen, yeah, I was taught this all my life, but I am my own individual, and I know that what I feel is right.
Yes, absolutely. And I say it all the time. I mean, we've been through it all. We've done everything that we can possibly imagine together. We've worked in the same places together. I've been his manager before. I mean, we've went to the same college together. We went to the same high school together.
I don't recommend it.
Don't ever work with your spouse. It's the worst thing. Like, I've even wrote him up sometimes. I've sent him home, and he's like, I'm not going anywhere. And I'm like, no, dude, you have to go home. Like, I'm going to miss my job. No, you have to go. I mean, but we overcame so much, you know, and our parents are very accepting of each other. You know, my brother loves Alex, you know, and his family loves me, and that's what it's about. You know, in the beginning, it was a little rocky, but we made it happen.
How did you mentioned being Pentecostal. So how did you reconcile your religion with your sexuality?
Like I said, I mean, at the age of 5, 6, I was already in like early school age, and I was already identifying myself, and I'm like, okay, this is what I like, you know. And like I said, I didn't have a role model. I didn't have anyone to help me, you know, like identify myself or answer any of my questions. So I held all that in for so many years, you know. And I dated girls, I went out with girls, you know. I was involved, you know, sexually with girls, and it was just something that I wasn't ever comfortable with, and I was never able to identify that. And so, you know, to be quite honest, when I met my husband 19 years ago was when I was able to finally be like, okay, this is what I am. I was 21 at the time, and I'm telling you all my age right now. That's so shady. But yeah, I mean, I was already 21 at that age when I was like, well, actually, no, I was 18. I was 18. Shady Pines was 14. And I was like, you know what, it's time. And I told my mom. It was a little difficult for them to accept it in the beginning, of course, but they dealt with it. And I mean, you have to love yourself. At the end of the day, you're living for yourself. You have to make yourself happy. And if no one around you is going to make you happy, then you have to find happiness within yourself. And I thank my husband so much for allowing me and helping me find that, because I mean, I never loved myself. I used to always doubt myself, and having him in my life, you know, it's the same way as having a woman in a heterosexual's life. You know, love is love, and there's no gender in love.
Are you still religious?
I believe in God. I believe that there is a high, you know, power. But I sit home and dwell and watch YouTube or Christian videos? Do I sit and read the Bible, which I should? Sometimes I don't, but I do get email notifications of Bible verses and stuff. But I mean, I'm not gonna live for two lies. I'm not gonna live a lie. I'm not gonna, you know, say that I'm Christian and then at the same time, I mean, there is gay churches. There's and I don't knock, you know, the community for having these things, but I know that being gay in the religion and any religion is just a sin, you know. So I mean, I'm not gonna live that lie. I'm gonna continue to just live my life. And
I wasn't raised too religiously, so I've kind of, I guess you could say, lived it guilt-free, quote unquote. But I never really thought of it as, you know, the religion stopping me from identifying with who I am.
Right. Which is true, because when I first met Shady Pines, I mean Alex, he was extremely gothic. He was more different than I was. I was more into like the voguing scene. I was more into like, you know, hanging out with, you know, like the hip hop crew of the gay culture. He was more into like
the dark child.
Yeah, she was into the dark like lifestyle, and I was like, it's kind of cute. How do I get to that? So, you know, at that time, I even tried to blend in with his crew. You know, I would go to school with ripped up jeans. You know, so I was always trying to find my identity and find myself. And like I said, thank you, babe, because without you, I don't think I would be here today. And you know that I say this all the time.
What about I know it sounds it's kind of abstract, and we're getting into the last couple of minutes of the show, but the whole the road to self-acceptance. How does one come to that? Be they gay, straight, whatever. How do you advise people to accept who they are, where they are, how they are?
One important thing that I think personally would be a support system. You have to, friends, family, anybody that's willing to support you through the step of the way, be there for them, have them be there for you, open up to yourself, be completely honest with everyone around you that you love. And then take it from there. Just be completely honest with yourself.
Yes. And never feel like you're alone. I mean, because, honey, I even said it yesterday when it was in Asbury Park. I'm like, oh my God, like, we're dealing with so much in this world. And to come think about it, we're in Asbury Park. We've never been here. Like, all these thousands of gay people. It's a community. I mean, we're people just like, you know, anyone else. You know, and if you're an ally or you're a part of the LGBTQ plus community, you're questioning your identity.
If you're going through anything, know that you're not alone.
You're not alone. I mean, we're all in this together. We're still fighting for our rights. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I can't wait to come back again.
And people can reach out to you, whether they're gay or straight.
Absolutely.
Whatever their agenda is, whatever their problem is. So once again, because we're getting into the final few minutes of the show. If somebody just wants to talk to you,
Follow
seek
you.
advice, follow your itinerary. Again, what is your contact information?
Yes, you can reach me. I'll give my email, and I don't mind giving my phone number out. Honestly, I really don't, because that's part of the entertainment world. So guys can always reach me at 212. I'm very high fashion. I have my own 212 number, 212-658-0724. And Shady Pines is?
You can reach me at 718-696-9911 if you want to chat with anybody, something on your mind. And my email address, Shay, SHAY, .D, as in David, .pinesnyc@gmail.com.
Yes.
And you have been fantastic guests. I got to say, I'm
Thank you for
so
having me.
happy that you came in.
And remember, they appear Tuesdays from 5 to 11 at
Guapo's.
Guapo Cocina Mexicana in Yonkers.
Yes, 10 Warburton.
10 Warburton Avenue, which is right near Main Street. Also, I believe it's wedged in between Main. I forget what the other. Main and Wells.
Main and Wells. Yep, Main and
That's what
Wells.
it is.
And Ardina, who are our guests next week?
I'm only going to tell you, I think we're going to have
Oh, a
a political
surprise.
pundit, and his first name is Fred. Not going to give you the last name, but he's got a lot
I
to
bet
say.
it's not Fred the Beetle Barnes.
No, Fred's got a lot to say about what's happening in Yonkers politics.
Yes.
So
make sure you tune in, because I'm going to tune in.
oh yeah, Fred's got all the all the inside stuff. So
Well,
we'll see you next week.
that's it for Westchester Eye on the Radio this week. Have a great week, everyone. Hopefully you'll hear us next week.
Westchester's only community station.